In 1615, in a secluded mountain dojo in feudal Japan, a master asked his student a question that would alter his path. Teacher, if you face 10 enemies with your sword, how many can you defeat? The young samurai replied with confidence, all 10, master. The elder shook his head. Incorrect. You will defeat none. Because the moment your mind focuses on killing 10, you have already lost to the first. This was the paradox every samurai had to understand. True victory does not come from action alone, but from presence. Not from skill, but from mindset. Not from the sword you hold, but from the stillness within you. Those who grasped this truth became legends. Those who did not became casualties. What is rarely explained is this. The principle was never about combat. It was about life itself. At this moment, you are fighting 10 battles, career, relationships, health, direction, and losing them for the same reason samurai fell centuries ago. Your attention is scattered. You focus on 10 problems instead of facing the one directly before you. The question is simple. Are you ready to learn what the samurai learned? The year is 1615. Japan has been unified under the Tokugawa shogunate after generations of conflict. Yet high in the mountains of Hida province, one dojo still trains warriors according to the old traditions. Takeshi was 17 when shame confronted him. He had trained there for 5 years, 5 years of sword drills, meditation, and classical study. His technique was flawless. His strikes were quick, accurate, and controlled. But he carried a problem no amount of repetition could solve: fear. During sparring with bakken wooden swords, his thoughts would spiral. What if I'm hit? What if I fail? What if the master sees my weakness? His body tightened. His breath shortened. His precision collapsed. The other students noticed. Quiet comments spread through the dojo. Takeshi has form, but no spirit. He overthinks. He will never pass the test. The test, the final evaluation, separating students from true samurai. A live blade against a master. Not to death, but to the point where death could no longer be avoided. Most students faced it at 18. Takeshi was already 17 and a half, and his master, Yamamoto-sensei, had not mentioned it. One evening after training, Takeshi approached him. The master sat formally before the dojo shrine, eyes closed in meditation. Takeshi knelt and waited 5 minutes, then 10, then 15. At last, Yamamoto-sensei opened his eyes. Master, Takeshi said softly, when will I be ready for the test? The master studied him. Those eyes had witnessed countless battles and trained generations of warriors. You are technically ready, he said. But technical readiness means nothing. Takeshi frowned. I don't understand. Stand. Take your sword. Takeshi obeyed, gripping his bakken. Now strike me. His master was unarmed, kneeling. The opening was perfect. Yet Takeshi's hands trembled. I can't, master. Why? It would be disrespectful. The master's expression hardened. Respect? No. You're lying to yourself. You are afraid of what comes after the strike, afraid of my response, afraid of failure. Your mind is in 10 places except the one that matters here. Now, this moment, the word struck Takeshi deeply. Until you learn presence, the master continued, you will never be a samurai. You will be a corpse with good technique. Go, meditate on this. That night, Takeshi did not sleep. He sat alone, watching moonlight spill through his window. 5 years of sacrifice, pain, and discipline, and he was failing not physically, but mentally. His master was right. During every fight, his thoughts were on outcomes, appearances, and fear, not the moment itself. As dawn arrived, Takeshi made a decision. He would find the answer, no matter the cost. The next morning, Yamamoto-sensei announced, today, no sword practice. Today, we clean. The students concealed their disappointment. Discipline demanded silence. They spent the entire day sweeping floors, washing surfaces, organizing weapons, and tending the shrine. Manual labor that seemed pointless, or so Takeshi believed. As he swept the familiar wooden floor, his thoughts drifted. This is a waste of time. I should be training. The test is coming. Then he noticed something. The master was sweeping as well, but differently. Every movement was intentional. Each stroke of the broom was complete. When he swept left, he was fully sweeping left. When he swept right, fully right. The task became something else entirely. Focused, almost sacred. Afterward, the master called Takeshi forward. What did you learn today? Takeshi hesitated. That the dojo must stay clean. The master smiled. Wrong. Come. They walked to a small meditation hall behind the dojo. Inside hung a single scroll bearing 2 characters in elegant ink. Fudoshin, the master said. Beginner's mind. Do you understand it? To approach things as a beginner. Go deeper. When a beginner first holds a sword, what fills his mind? Takeshi thought. Curiosity. Learning. And what else? Nothing else. Exactly. The beginner's mind holds no fear, no expectation. Only this moment. Only the sword. A beginner does not think about mastery. Only this grip, this stance, this swing. They sat together. Now tell me, when you sweep the floor, where is your mind? Takeshi felt the answer before speaking. Everywhere else. And when you fight, thinking about results. About failure. You are never fully present, the master said calmly. You clean while thinking about combat. You train while thinking about judgment. You're always one step removed from reality. That is why you fail. The words were quiet but devastating. A samurai's greatest weapon is not the katana, Yamamoto-sensei continued. It is presence. Zanshin, Fudoshin, Mushin, all point to one truth. Be fully here. He gestured to the scroll. Empty your mind of countless thoughts. Face only what stands before you. Takeshi bowed. Master, how do I practice this? Starting tomorrow, you will train differently. Every task, eating, walking, cleaning, sword work, you will do with complete attention. When you eat, only eat. When you walk, only walk. When you strike, only strike. For how long? Until you understand. A month, a year, or never. That depends on you. That night, Takeshi began. He sat in meditation without trying to achieve anything. Thoughts arose, doubt, fear, impatience. Each time, he acknowledged them and returned to his breath. Here, now, this moment. It was the most difficult training he had ever faced. If you are beginning to see how presence can transform life, as it transformed Takeshi, consider joining the Presence and Purpose community. Subscribe and continue exploring the timeless wisdom that builds modern mastery. The first week was unbearable. Presence felt slow and uncomfortable. Every activity stretched endlessly. His mind protested. This is pointless. Others are improving while you waste time. But Takeshi continued. The master had shown him the path. In the second week, something changed. During morning meditation, the mental noise stopped, briefly, without effort. In that silence, he noticed the wind through the trees, the wooden structure settling, his own heartbeat. It felt like waking from a long sleep, like seeing clearly for the first time. The moment ended. The inner noise returned. But now Takeshi understood that silence was possible. Presence was real. He deepened his practice. When sweeping, he became the act of sweeping. The motion of the broom, the sound of bristles against wood, the feeling in his arms became his entire focus. When eating, he noticed every grain of rice, chewing slowly, fully experiencing the simple act of nourishment. When walking, each step was complete, heel to toe, weight shifting, balance adjusting. The other students whispered among themselves. Takeshi walks like an old man now. He eats like a monk. Has he abandoned the path of the samurai? The master observed quietly, said nothing, and waited. Week 3 brought the true challenge, a sparring session. Takeshi faced another student, Kenji, a skilled fighter who had already passed his final examination. Both held bakken. The old Takeshi would have been thinking, Kenji is better than me. What if I lose in front of everyone? I must impress the master. The new Takeshi simply stood aware and present. Kenji attacked with a fast overhead strike. Something unexpected occurred. Takeshi's body moved without conscious thought. He stepped aside, deflected the strike, and countered in one smooth motion. No hesitation, no internal dialogue, just response. Kenji staggered back, surprised. They reset and engaged again. This time, Teacher was not fighting Kenji. He was present with the moment itself. When Kenji moved, Teacher responded, not from stored technique, but from immediate awareness. It felt as though the movement flowed through him rather than being forced by him. The match ended. Kenji bowed deeply. That was different. You've changed. Teacher returned the bow without speaking. Inside, clarity was forming. Presence was not merely a meditation exercise. It was the source of true warrior strength. When fully present, you do not react from fear or overthinking. You respond from awareness. And awareness is always faster, more accurate, and more effective than thought. That evening, the master summoned him. Tomorrow, Yamamoto-sensei said, you will face your final test. Fear arose within Teacher, then passed. Here, now, only this moment. Yes, master, I am ready. For the first time in 5 years, it was true. Before continuing Teshi's story, it is important to understand what was happening within his brain. Modern neuroscience has confirmed what the samurai understood centuries ago. Presence is a skill that can be trained, and it physically reshapes the brain. As Teacher practiced presence, he reduced activity in the default mode network, or DMN, the system responsible for mind-wandering, self-focused thinking, and anxiety about past and future events. Each time he returned attention to the present moment, he strengthened his prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for focus, emotional control, and decision-making. This is not mysticism. These changes are measurable. Studies on long-term meditation practitioners show increased gray matter density in regions related to attention and reduced activity in areas associated with fear and anxiety. The samurai lacked modern imaging tools, but they fully understood the principle. Miyamoto Musashi, the greatest swordsman in Japanese history, wrote in the Book of Five Rings. In strategy, it is important to see distant things as if they were close, and to take a distant view of close things. This describes presence, the ability to remain grounded in the moment while maintaining perspective, facing immediate danger without losing clarity. Takuan Soho, the Zen master who advised many samurai, explained it this way. The mind must always be in a state of flow. When it stops in one place, the flow is broken. That interruption harms the mind. Modern psychology calls this the flow state. The samurai called it mushin, no mind. There's a deeper layer. When Teacher fought Kenji with full presence, his amygdala, the brain's fear center, had less influence over his actions. His body accessed trained movement without interference from conscious thought. No mind does not mean an absence of thoughts. It means thoughts no longer control behavior. The Hagakure, a practical guide to samurai conduct, advises daily meditation on death. Each day, when body and mind are calm, one should reflect on being struck down by arrows, spears, and swords. This may sound dark, but it reflects strong psychological insight. By fully accepting death, the ultimate fear, the samurai freed themselves from fear's grip. They understood that outcomes cannot be controlled. Only presence can. When fully present, fear does not vanish, but it no longer dominates. You feel it, acknowledge it, and act regardless. This is Fudoshin, the immovable mind, not untouched by emotion, but not driven by it. Teacher discovered this truth not through reading, but through experience. 30 days of choosing awareness over distraction, presence over thought, being over striving. Now, he would face the final test. If this journey into feudal Japan resonates with you, and you want to learn the samurai practices that build unshakable presence, subscribe to this channel. We are building a community that values awareness over distraction and presence over performance. The day of the final examination arrived. In the dojo courtyard, Teacher stood dressed in hakama and gi, a wooden sword in his hands. Across from him stood Yamamoto-sensei, holding a real katana, sharpened steel. The test had begun. This was the tradition. The student fought with wood. The master fought with steel. The difference in weapons reflected the difference in skill. If the master chose, a single strike could end Teshi's life. Around the courtyard, students and masters from nearby dojos observed in silence. This was a formal event. Official. Witnesses were present to see either Takeshi's success or his failure. Yamamoto-sensei spoke, his voice carrying across the still courtyard. Takeshi has trained for 5 years. Today, he faces the test. Not to defeat me. That is impossible, but to demonstrate warrior spirit, to show presence under pressure, and to prove he is samurai. The old master settled into a kami fighting stance. His katana reflected the morning sunlight. Takeshi's heart raced. His hands wanted to shake. The old Takeshi would have been lost in thought. What if I fail? What if I disgrace myself? What if I die? But the new Takeshi took a breath. He felt his feet grounded in the earth. He heard the wind moving through the bamboo. He saw his master's posture clearly. Here, now, only this. The master moved. Not a full attack, but a testing strike. Fast, controlled, aimed at Takeshi's shoulder. Takeshi responded. No planning, no hesitation, just presence. He stepped aside. The katana passed close to his ear. He countered with the bakken, not to strike, only to respond to the opening. The master deflected. They reset. They circled. Another attack came, faster this time. A combination. High strike, then low sweep. Takeshi flowed. His body moved before the mind could interfere. Block. Evade. Counter. The blade never touched him. Around the courtyard, quiet murmurs spread. This was uncommon. Most students spent the test defending desperately. Takeshi was adapting, responding, staying present. The master increased the intensity. Real speed now, the kind used in real combat. And something changed. Takeshi stopped trying to win. He stopped trying to impress. He stopped trying altogether. He simply remained present with each movement, each breath, each moment. The exchange became fluid. The master struck. Takeshi answered, not from remembered technique, but from immediate awareness. Zanshin, remaining awareness. Even after blocking, Takeshi stayed alert. Even after countering, he was prepared for what followed. 3 minutes passed. In combat, an eternity. Then the master did something unexpected. He created a clear opening, a visible weakness in his defense. Most students would have rushed forward, eager to score a point. Takeshi saw it, recognized it, and did not take it. Presence revealed the truth. It was a trap, an invitation to overcommit. He waited. The master noticed. Understanding passed between them. Yamamoto-sensei lowered his katana, stepped back, and bowed deeply. Enough. You have passed. Silence followed. Then applause from the observing masters. Takeshi bowed in return, trembling now that the test was complete, not from fear, but from release. Later, in private, the master spoke. 5 years ago, you came here wanting to become the best swordsman, Yamamoto-sensei said. Today, you became something greater. You became present. The sword is only a tool. Presence is the true weapon. When you refused that opening, you showed wisdom. The inexperienced warrior tries to win every exchange. The true warrior understands that some victories are hidden defeats. Takeshi listened, but a question formed within him. Master, I have passed the test. I am samurai now, but it feels like this is only the beginning, not the end. Yamamoto-sensei smiled. Yes, this is the first transformation from student to samurai, but there is a second, from samurai to master. For that, you must leave this dojo. Takeshi's eyes widened. Leave? Yes. I am sending you to the temple on Mount Koya. There you will train with the monks for 1 year. Not in swordsmanship, but in pure presence, in Zen meditation. The next level of mastery is not about fighting better. It is about transcending the need to fight at all. Takeshi believed he understood presence. But in the mountains with the Zen monks, he would learn that what he knew was only a shadow of true awareness. The real training was about to begin. 1 year on Mount Koya, a sacred mountain, home to one of Japan's oldest Zen monasteries. Takeshi arrived carrying his swords, his warrior pride, and his newly earned samurai title. The head monk, Master Iku, studied him with eyes shaped by 60 years of meditation. Leave your swords at the gate, he said. You will not need them here. But master, Takeshi replied, I am samurai. Here, the monk answered, you are a beginner. Here you learn to sit. And so began the most difficult year of Takeshi's life. There was no sword training, no combat practice, nothing associated with being a warrior, only sitting. Hours of zazen meditation, sitting still, watching the mind, remaining present. The first month felt like mental conflict. Takeshi's thoughts resisted constantly. This is useless. You are a trained samurai. You should be refining technique, not sitting motionless like a statue. But the training had already begun. His legs cramped. His back ached. His mind raced with thoughts, plans, memories, worries. Master Iku walked slowly between the meditating students, carrying a wooden stick. When he noticed a wandering mind, visible through posture, breathing, or small movements, he struck the student's shoulder. Not hard, just enough to bring attention back. Takeshi was struck often. Still, he continued. Somewhere deep inside, he understood. His dojo master had sent him here for a reason. The second month brought a breakthrough. During one meditation session, Takeshi's thoughts were especially restless. Anxiety about wasted time. Frustration over slow progress. His mind felt completely scattered. Then Master Iku rang a bell. It was time for walking meditation. The student stood and began moving slowly in a circle around the hall. One step per breath. Heel to toe. Full awareness. In that moment, something became clear. Presence was not about stopping thoughts. It was about not being ruled by them. Thoughts would always appear. The question was whether you followed them or allowed them to pass, like clouds in the sky. Takeshi began observing his thoughts without engagement. There is anxiety about my training. Interesting. Just a thought. Then he returned to his breath, to the feeling of walking, to here and now. The thoughts did not disappear, but they lost their influence. Months 3 through 6 brought deeper training. The monastery routine became his entire world. Wake at 4 in the morning. Meditation. A simple breakfast in silence. Work meditation. Chopping wood, carrying water, tending the gardens. More meditation. Study of sutras. Evening meditation. Sleep. Every activity was practiced with presence. When chopping wood, there was only the axe, the wood, and the movement. When eating, he tasted every grain of rice. When studying sutras, he absorbed each character fully. Takeshi discovered layers of awareness he had never known. First, surface presence, simple attention to the task. Then deeper presence, feeling the space between thoughts. And deeper still, recognizing the awareness beneath all thoughts and emotions. The Zen masters called this original mind, or Buddha nature, the steady awareness that observes everything and is never disturbed. Month 7 brought the second test. Master Iku summoned Takeshi to his quarters. You have been here 6 months, he said. You have learned presence in stillness. Now you must learn presence in chaos. He handed Takeshi a letter. There is a village 3 days' walk from here. Bandits have been harassing them. The village leader has asked for help. You will go alone. Resolve the situation, then return. Takeshi felt old patterns surface, the samurai mindset. Finally, a chance to use my skills. I'll show what a trained warrior can do. Then he noticed it, the ego seeking proof. Interesting. He bowed. Yes, master. As Takeshi prepared to leave, Master Iku added, remember, the goal is not to defeat bandits. The goal is to maintain presence. Whatever happens, stay here now. That is the real test. Takeshi walked for 3 days along mountain paths. Each step a meditation. Each breath a return to awareness. He reached the village at sunset. The village was small, perhaps 30 families. Fear shaped daily life. The village headman explained the situation. A group of Ronin, masterless samurai, have been taking our food and money. We are farmers. We cannot fight them. How many? Takeshi asked. 5, led by a man named Katsuru. He was once an honorable samurai. After his lord was killed, he turned to banditry. That night, Takeshi meditated. The next day, he would face 5 trained warriors alone. The old Takeshi would have been terrified, planning tactics, worrying about death. The new teacher sat with whatever arose. Fear appeared. Yes, he acknowledged. Fear is here. But he did not let it guide him. Presence remained. Here. Now. The outcome does not matter. Only this moment does. At dawn, the bandits arrived. 5 hardened men, led by Katsuru, a tall figure marked by scars and hardened eyes. Teacher walked out to meet them, unarmed. The bandits laughed. The village hired one samurai. Boy, go home before you get hurt. Teacher stood calmly, grounded and aware. Katsuru stopped laughing. Something about Tishi's stillness unsettled him. You're not like the others, he said. Who trained you? Yamamoto-sensei and Master Iku. Katsuru's eyes widened slightly. He knew those names. So you think you can stop us? Teacher smiled softly. I'm not here to stop you. I am here to speak with you. As one samurai to another. The bandits looked confused. There was no threat, no challenge. Teacher continued, voice steady. Katsuru, you were once a respected warrior. You served with honor. What brought you here? For a brief moment, something flickered in Katsuru's eyes. Loss, pain. My lord was killed. My honor died with him. This, he gestured toward the village, is all that remains. No, Teacher said calmly. Your honor is not gone. It is only sleeping. Beneath the pain and anger, it still exists. The other bandits shifted uneasily. This was not how confrontations usually unfolded. Teacher stepped closer, unarmed, fully present. I know the Bushido code demands service to a lord. But what if there is a higher lord than any daimyo? One that cannot be killed or taken away. And what is that? Katsuru asked, his hand resting on his sword. Presence. Awareness. The part of you that remains when everything else is gone. Master Ika taught me this. You can lose your lord, your land, even your life, but not your true nature. Silence filled the morning air. Katsuru stared at the young samurai, standing before 5 armed men with nothing but calm awareness. You are either very brave, he said slowly, or very foolish. Perhaps, Teacher replied, both. Teacher smiled, but I am also fully present. And in this moment, I offer you a choice. Continue down a path driven by fear and violence, or remember who you truly are. One of the bandits scoffed. Katsuru, why are we listening to this? Let me end it. He drew his sword and charged forward. Teacher did not move. He remained completely still, entirely present. No fear, no aggression, only awareness. The blade stopped an inch from Tishi's throat. The bandit could not strike. Something in Tishi's presence, the total absence of resistance or fear, made violence impossible. The bandit staggered backward, confused. Katsuru watched silently. Then he did something no one expected. He knelt and bowed his head. Forgive me, he said. I forgot. I forgot what it means to be a samurai. The other bandits stared at their leader in disbelief. Katsuru stood. We are leaving. We will not return. He looked at Teacher. Where is this Master Iku? Mount Koya, Teacher replied. Perhaps I will go there, Katsuru said quietly, if he will accept a broken man. Teacher bowed. There are no broken men, only those who have forgotten their wholeness. The bandits departed. The village was safe, not through force, but through presence. Teacher returned to Mount Koya. Master Iku was waiting. Tell me what happened. Teacher told the story. The master listened carefully, nodding. And what did you learn? He asked. Teacher paused. Then clarity settled in. I learned that presence is the ultimate weapon. Not because it defeats enemies, but because it transforms them. When you are fully present, grounded in awareness, you become a mirror. People see themselves reflected back. Katsuru saw his true nature in my stillness. The bandit who attacked me saw the emptiness of violence in my lack of resistance. Presence does not fight. It does not need to. It simply exists. And that presence is more powerful than any sword. Master Iku smiled. Yes, this is the secret discovered by the greatest warriors. The highest victory is not overcoming others. It is moving beyond the need for conflict entirely. Miyamoto Musashi won 60 duels. Yet near the end of his life, What did he write? Step by step, walk the 1,000-mile road. He was not speaking about defeating 1,000 opponents. He was describing presence in every step. The beginner samurai asks, how do I win this fight? The advanced samurai asks, how do I remain present in this fight? The master samurai understands. When presence is complete, there is no fight. This is the final teaching. Shoshin, beginner's mind, is not only about learning. It is about seeing each moment as fresh, whole, and complete. Zanshin, remaining awareness, is not only about alertness after combat. It is about recognizing that life itself requires awareness at all times. Fudoshin, the immovable mind, is not about being cold or without feeling. It is about being so grounded in presence that nothing external can disturb inner peace. You learn these principles through the sword, the master concluded. Now you understand they apply to everything. Every conversation, every meal, every breath. This is what it truly means to be samurai. Not a warrior who destroys life, but one who supports life through presence. Takeshi bowed deeply. Thank you, Master, for everything. Your training here is complete, Master Ika said. Where will you go now? Takeshi had already considered this. I will return to Yamamoto-sensei's dojo. Not as a student, but as a teacher. I will pass on what I have learned. Master Ika nodded. Good. The circle is complete. The student becomes the master. The master becomes the student. This is the way. The samurai. 10 years later. Takeshi now runs the dojo. Yamamoto-sensei has retired to a quiet hermitage. One day, a new student arrives. Young, enthusiastic, technically skilled, but anxious. He reminds Takeshi of himself. Master Takeshi, the student says, I want to become the greatest swordsman in Japan. Takeshi smiles. He has heard these words before. He once spoke them himself. Come, he says. Sit with me. They sit in Saiza before the shrine. The same shrine where Yamamoto-sensei once taught Takeshi about Shoshin. Do you see this scroll? Takeshi asks, pointing to the characters. Yes, master. What does it say? Shoshin, beginner's mind. And what does that mean to you? The student thinks. To train with humility. Yes, Takeshi replies. And more than that, it means to be present in this moment. Not the moment when you believe you will be the greatest swordsman. This moment here and now. He continues calmly. I will tell you a secret. There is no moment when you suddenly become the greatest. There is only this moment and the next and the one after that. If you are fully present in each one, you will discover what the greatest swordsmen understand. The sword is only a tool. Presence is the weapon. And presence does not make you the greatest warrior. It makes you free. The young student looks confused, just as Takeshi once did. I don't understand, master. You will, Takeshi says, with time and practice. Now, before we begin sword training, we will start with something else. What is that? Takeshi hands him a broom. Sweeping. And when you sweep, just sweep. Be fully present with the broom, the floor, and the movement. Can you do that? The student looks disappointed but nods. Yes, master. Takeshi watches as the student begins. He sees the wandering mind, the impatience, the desire to be doing something important. He sees himself from 10 years ago, and he smiles. The cycle continues. The teaching is not passed through lectures, but through presence. Through example, through thousands of small moments of being fully here now. This is the way of the samurai. Not violence, but presence. Not domination, but awareness. Not constant striving, but being. The path of the samurai is not about the sword. It is about presence, being fully here, fully alive, fully aware in each moment. If you are ready to begin this journey and train in the ancient practices that shape modern warriors, join us. Subscribe, train, transform, walk with presence, live with purpose, become unshakable. See you in the next lesson, warrior.